Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now, in today's video, I'm going to be going over the breath of life. How we can utilize the breath to open our minds to the mind of God. Now, our breath is the most powerful tool that we have in our arsenal. If we're able to control our breathing, if we're able to concentrate on our breathing and actually have control over our breathing, then we can have control over everything else in our life, everything else in our reality. So I have a detailed explanation on how you can utilize the breath through meditation. I talk about the different type of chakras and how you can activate these chakras with the breath to open your mind up and to activate the kundalini energy. I'll leave that video link down in the description if you guys want to check that out. But in this video, I'm going to be going over how we can utilize the breath and how the breath is a representation of reality creation, how we can utilize the breath, how we can utilize the kundalini, how we can utilize the energy that's all around us, the universal energy that's all around us to open our minds up, to open up the dormant layers within our mind, to create the desired reality that we want, and just be happy overall, to achieve that highest state of ecstasy and to have that peace within us so we can have that peace outside in our reality. So let's not waste any time. Let's go ahead and get started. So, our breath is the most powerful tool that we have within our arsenal, yet we take it for granted. So, most of us, when we're going through life, doing certain things, whether it be, watching TV, eating, reading, talking to loved ones, family members, whatever the case may be, most of the time, we're not even conscious, or most of the time we're not even conscious of our breath because we don't have to think about our breath. We don't have to tell ourselves to breathe, right? We do it unconsciously. We unconsciously breathe in oxygen and let out carbon dioxide, right? And we don't have to tell our organs. We don't have to tell our heart to beat. We don't have to tell our lungs to take in oxygen. We don't have to tell our liver to clean out certain things within the body. These things do it naturally. It's like they have a mind of their own because they do. They have their own consciousness and they're their own entity, just like our breath. But once we're able to, sit down and actually, meditate and actually concentrate on our breath, concentrate on our breathing, then that's when many doorways start to open up in our reality. So when we take the time to actually concentrate on our breathing, when we breathe in and breathe out, right, and we do this consecutively and actually concentrate on the breath, then we're able to open the many dormant layers within our mind that we never knew existed, right? So just do this. Breathe in through your nose, breathe out through your mouth, right? So we never even take the time to actually concentrate on our breath because we're so busy, with everyday life, with work, with school, just with anything that this matrix is keeping us occupied with. So that's why it's important for us to, take some time out of your day, whether it be on your lunch break, whether it be, on the weekend, or whether it be, after work, after school, when you come home. Allow some time to actually focus on your breath and actually focus on yourself, right? Because when we focus on ourselves, when we take the time to focus on ourselves, then we're able to become clear minded. We're able to become more, less foggy in the mind, less foggy in the consciousness. We're able to relax and actually settle down and calm down and actually take the time to understand ourselves, take the time to actually heal ourselves. When we're out in reality, when we're out in the outside world, we can become so susceptible to everyday life. We soak up all the energy, we soak up all the toxins that's in the air, toxins within people. So actually taking the time to to relax and actually take care of yourself and focus on your breath and actually detox yourself, you know, many different ways, breathing, the hot sauna, cold showers, hot showers, anything to release that negative energy and to release those negative emotions that we take in everyday life is very valuable and is very key to unlock the hidden mysteries within ourselves. So we never really take the time to focus on our breath or our breathing in general. This alone can throw off our equilibrium. That's why we have certain emotional problems. We may have certain emotional problems, certain problems within ourselves, certain problems, in our everyday life, right? Stagnant energy results in a stagnant reality. You need to keep that in mind. Stagnant energy results in a stagnant reality, right? So there may be some sort of stagnant energy within your body. There might be some sort of energy blockage within the chakras of your body. So when we actually take the time to actually breathe, to actually calm ourselves, to actually go into that theta wavelength state, then we can actually focus on our internal being, right? We can focus on our own world, focus on our own universe, right? When we have these talks, when we have these lectures, when we, spread this type of information, when we help one another, that's the universe. We're actually helping the universe grow. We're actually expanding the universe. We're actually expanding the consciousness of the universe because we are the microcosm of the macrocosm. We are the universe experiencing itself. So when we help each other, when we expand our consciousness, when we expand our awareness through the breath, through the art of breathing, then we're able to expand the whole universe as a whole. So this is the representation of the breath in the art of life. So we have the macrocosm. Like I mentioned, we are the microcosm of the macrocosm. So the macrocosm, you can look at it as the universe expands, it contracts. Just how we breathe, just by the way we breathe, we inhale and exhale, right? The universe does the same thing. That's why I said we are the microcosm of the macrocosm. The universe expands, it contracts. The universe expands, it contracts. Okay? So just like with the microcosm, which is the human body, we breathe in day slash masculine slash sun energy. Okay? As we set an intention for that day. Okay? So in the daytime, when we wake up in the morning, as soon as you wake up, just taking a deep breath in. Just take a deep breath in when you wake up. Just appreciate the air that you're breathing right now, right? Just when we become conscious of the air that we are breathing every day, that we start to become appreciative of the breath that we breathe, right? Because when we go out, every day, when we're not focusing on the breath, we're not concentrating on our breathing in general, then it can throw off our equilibrium. It can throw off our whole day, right? That's why it's important for us, set certain rituals, set certain rituals in the morning. Perform libations, do some sort of yoga, deep breathing meditation. Uh, you know, uh, take a morning ritual shower, whatever the case may be. Set an intention for the day. Repeat affirmations. Set short term and long term goals for yourself, and keep repeating them on a consistent basis. Repeat them 3 times a day: one in the morning, one in the afternoon, and one at night. Right? So it's all about setting an intention for the day. Set a positive intention for the day, and it can go a long way for you in your life. So in the morning, we set an intention. We breathe in masculine sun energy, right? We're embodying the masculine energy. We're setting an intention for the day, and we're conquering the day ahead. Okay? So we exhale night slash feminine slash moon energy as we wind down and rest for the next day ahead, right? So when we exhale, calming ourselves down. We're relaxing. We're relaxing the mind. We're relaxing the body. Right? We're doing our night rituals. Right? That's why it's important for us to, not look at our phones, to not watch TV, to not go to sleep with the TV on, looking at blue UV light, because this can disrupt our circadian rhythm, right? Doing things such as grounding, getting sunlight, these sorts of different things can regulate the serotonin within the body, and which then can regulate our circadian rhythm, right? Our day-night cycle. So that's why it's important for us to, you know, not utilize our phone 30 minutes before we go to bed. So we can't, it's important for us to not utilize so much technology, to not, distract ourselves with loud music, listen to loud music before we go to bed, because this can disrupt our circadian rhythm. It can keep us up at night. That's why it's important for us to, do these certain things, set up certain night rituals to, relax the mind, to relax the body, concentrate on our breathing, do some, night yoga, night meditation to relax us and to help us go to sleep and get ready for the next day ahead. So at night we exhale night slash feminine slash moon energy as we wind down and get ready for the next day ahead. So when doing deep breathing exercises, this activates the kundalini energy. So I know most of you have heard about the kundalini energy when it comes to the Hindu aspect, the Hindu religion. When we do these deep breathing exercises, when we do these different types of uh, deep breathing meditation, yoga, and these sorts of different things, this can activate the dormant kundalini energy that's within us. Now, what is kundalini energy in the first place? What is the kundalini energy exactly? The kundalini represents the coming consciousness of humanity. It is a dormant but powerful force that sits at the base of the spinal column. Right? It sits at the base of the spinal column, and it shoots up and uh, activates the different chakras, which then permeates into the mind and activates the dormant layers within the mind, which is considered the mind of God or the super consciousness. Once activated, it passes through each of the chakras, like I mentioned, thus awakening the many dormant areas of the brain. Okay, so when we do certain exercises, when we're activating that energy, when we're activating that dormant energy, the kundalini is able to rise up and uh, permeate through the different chakras and activate the brain, which produces and manifests as super consciousness. Right, the kundalini is also a representation of sexual energy. Right, the kundalini energy is a feminine energy, and it activates and uh, transcends the sexual energy. That's why when we're stuck, when the sexual energy is stuck at the root chakra, that's when we become susceptible to lust and all these sorts of different things. We're not able to utilize our sexual energy the right way. But once we make an intent with ourselves and we're able to utilize that sexual energy, not just with sex, not just with porn and instant gratification, things of this nature, we're able to utilize that sexual energy in a higher way, in a higher manner. So I'm going to be going over what is Kundalini in the book Kundalini Tantra by Swami Saraswati. So, what is Kundalini? Everybody should know something about Kundalini as it represents the coming consciousness of mankind. Kundalini is the name of a sleeping, dormant potential force in the human organism, and it is situated at the root of the spinal column. In the masculine body, it is in the perineum between the urinary and excretory organs. In the female body, its location is at the root of the uterus in the cervix. This center is known as Muladhara. Excuse me if I'm not pronouncing these words right. Muladhara chakra, and is actually a physical structure. It is a small gland which you can even take out and press. However, kundalini is a dormant energy, and even if you press it, it will not explode like a bomb. Okay, that's why it has to be activated through the energy, the breath of the energy of the breath. To awaken kundalini, you must prepare yourself through yogic techniques. You must practice asanas, pranayama, kriya yoga, and meditation. Then, when you are able to direct your prana into the seat of kundalini, the energy wakes up and makes its way through Sushumna Nadi in the central nervous canal to the brain. As Kundalini ascends, it passes through each of the chakras, which are interconnected with the different silent areas of the brain, like I mentioned earlier. With the awakening of Kundalini, there's an explosion in the brain as the dormant or sleeping areas start blossoming like flowers. Okay, that's why when the Kundalini is activated, you're not the same person as you used to be, right? You don't think the same way. You may not dress the same way. You're just a totally different person because this Kundalini energy is able to transform the brain and transform the neurons and the neural connections within the brain, right? Therefore, Kundalini can be equated with the awakening of the silent areas of the brain. Although Kundalini is said to reside in Muladhara chakra, we are all at different stages of evolution. Okay? And in some of us, Kundalini may have already reached Swadhisthana. Probably didn't even say that right. Manipura or Anahata chakra. If this is so, whatever sahana you do now might start an awakening in Anahata or some other chakra. However, awakening of Kundalini and Muladhara chakra is one thing, and awakening in Sahasrara, the highest center of the brain, is another. One of the multi-petaled lotus of Sarahara blossoms, a new consciousness dawns. Our present consciousness is not independent, as the mind depends on the information supplied by the senses. So, when we just think from a logical standpoint, when we think from an analytical standpoint, when we rely on the five senses, we're only utilizing 10% of our whole consciousness, right? So that's why in the Matrix movie, Morpheus asked Neo, like, what is real? What do you consider real? Is it based on what you can see, based on what you can touch, based on what you can feel? These sorts of things. Does that automatically make it real? Just because you can see it with your physical eyes, just because you can taste it, does it make it real? So when we open our minds up, when the Kundalini activates the crown chakra, and we're able to think from a higher plane, think from a higher perspective, then that's when you know everything starts to change for ourselves. Everything starts to change in our own world. Everything starts to change within our own reality. If you have no eyes, you can never see. If you are deaf, you will never hear. However, when the superconsciousness emerges, experience becomes completely independent and knowledge also becomes completely independent. So when we activate these certain centers within our body, when we activate the kundalini through the breath, that's when the knowledge starts to pour into us. That's when the inner Christos, that's when the inner knowing starts to come out of us. Right? I utilize these books. I started utilizing these books in my lectures, but most of my knowledge doesn't come from these books. It comes from within me. Right? When you sit down and actually take care of yourself and actually take the time to center yourself and go from within, then the knowledge starts to pour out. Right? This is the medulla oblongata that sits at the base of the brain, that sits at the base of the head, which is considered the mouth of God. So when we utilize this energy that's within us and around us, that's when the DNA starts to become activated. The dormant DNA starts to become activated, and we start to, uh, you know, bring forth the knowledge that's within us. We utilize the throat chakra, and we're able to express our truths. Once the throat chakra is activated, we're able to express ourselves and express our truth through our words. Okay, so this is the power of the kundalini and the power of the breath in general. This is how the kundalini and the breath become intertwined and intermingled to raise ourselves up to that higher playing field. So, how does breath work play a part in the rising of the kundalini energy? When we think of the breath, we may think of prana. Okay, prana can raise from the conscious universal energy to the very consciousness can range from the conscious universal energy to the very life force of the body. If we can have control over our breath, we can have control over everything else in the body. So there are, the advanced yogis of Tibet, the advanced yogis of the Hindu tradition of India. This is how powerful the breath is. Now I know you've seen these advanced yogis. They have been meditating for years and years and years on end. And by mastering the breath, by mastering the kundalini energy, they're able to master the other things that exist within the body. They're able to master the other functions that exist within the body, such as they're able to control their heart rate. They're able to increase the heat. They're able to increase uh, the heat within the body during the cold winter months. They're able to uh, leave the body as they please. They're able to, uh, you know, float in midair. They're able to do a whole bunch of things just from the control of the breath. This is how powerful the breath is. This is how powerful when we become consciously aware of our breath, the many superpowers that can become unlocked within our divine body. So this is the book Kundalini Energy of the Depths by Lillian Silburn. Now I'm going to be reading how the breath plays a part uh, within the activation of the Kundalini energy. Okay, this is the means associated with the breath or prana. Breath suspension can be produced by certain exercises, different, yogic exercises, breathing exercises, which involve holding and lengthening of the respiration described in a number of agama, some emphasizing the stirring up of breaths, others the union of breath with the utterance of sounds. We can utilize the different sounds because sounds create energy. This creates a resonance frequency. This creates uh, a certain type of vibration and energy that can raise the kundalini as well, along with different breathing exercises. Or as we shall see, various forms of concentration, such as, visualization, things of this nature. To appreciate the full meaning of all these practices, one has to examine the very nature of breath and the prominent place given to it in India. The term prana or pranasakti cannot be translated by any one of the following terms: consciousness, life, energy, breath, inspiration, and expiration. These refer to very distinct concepts, whereas prana appears as their common denominator, ranging from conscious universal energy to the very life force of the body. Okay? Thus, its nature changes according to the level considered. As soon as it fixes itself in the twin movement of inspiration and expiration, it becomes unconscious. And so do the organs of cognition and the sense organs dependent on it. One is then wholly under their alienating compulsion. And yet, even when unconscious, the breath energy bathes in consciousness. Right? This is when we focus on the breath, right? That energy is able to manifest and able to conjure up the consciousness of our being. It's able to intertwine and intermingle with the consciousness. The union of the breath, the kundalini, and the higher consciousness and the higher consciousness realm. Therefore, it can be free from its automatisms and made more subtle, refined, so that the unconscious associated with duality gradually recedes and the light breath recovers its nature of pure consciousness. So when we, like I said in the beginning, when we do certain things such as eating, uh, taking a shower, these sorts of different things, we just do things out of animal instinct. Basically, we don't take the time to actually gather our food, chew our food, swallow our food. We don't do it with intentions. We don't do it with positive intentions. We you know, just eat, eat, constantly eat, and don't think about any of these sorts of things. Right? But once we actually, sit down, you know, uh, sit down on the floor, or just sitting down in general, just actually taking the time to actually focus on how we're eating, how are we putting the food in our mouths, how are we chewing the foods? Are we chewing the food as we should? Right, so the body can easily digest the food, or we just unconsciously doing certain things and not even thinking about what we're doing. So these are the type of things that we have to actually ponder on and think about on a day-to-day basis. Since prana partakes of the life of the body in general, breath, thought, sense organs. Gaining control over it is to gain control over all these. So, like I said, with the advanced yogis, but just by concentrating on the breath, they're able to control the other different things, control the other sensory organs, control, the energy that's within the body. Like I said, that's how powerful the breath is. And these advanced yogis were able to do these certain things. And this has become, a lost art, especially in the West. The different practices to this end vary in degrees of subtlety. Set into motion by these practices, the breaths depart from their usual course, in which the exalted breath, prana, starts with the heart and ends 12 fingers. Breath from the nose, while the inhaled breath, or the apana, moves from the outside to the heart. Should a yogin become aware of these 2 points of repose and suspend his respiration by maintaining both breaths at their point of origin, the void where they are at rest, then these breaths, interiorizing, become charged with energy and rush into the median way. So at this moment, the inspired and expired breaths, usually out of balance, when stabilized at one point and pacify, neutralize each other, balance and merge at the junction, namely in the median way where they disappear in order to give place to the single breath known as equal or samana. Within it gathers the vital energy which fuels the 10 principles. I think y'all get the point. But like I said, when we concentrate on the breath, when the breath is out of balance, this can equate to an imbalanced state of mind or imbalanced state of being or an imbalanced state of reality. Right? Just put your finger on one of the nostrils and actually focus and breathe through one nostril from the left nostril, and then do the same thing with the right. You may notice that you may start breathing better on the left nostril, or you're able to gain more air within the left nostril than you do on the right nostril. Right? This is another yogic breathing practice that you can do. Right? So this could become an imbalance within the breath. That's how you know the imbalance within your breathing, where you can breathe in well from one nostril over the other. Right? Just taking some time, a few minutes, just actually start breathing from one different nostril. Right? Breathe in and breathe out through the left nostril. Do that for a few minutes. And then do the same thing with the right nostril. Right? This can even the playing field and even the equilibrium of your breath. Right? Because you're supposed to actually breathe in a considerable amount of air. It's supposed to be equal and in balance between the two nostrils. So we have three different nadi channels that exist within the body, right? We have one channel that goes in the middle, right? This activates the different chakras within the body. And then we have two other nadi channels that go up and down simultaneously when we do these certain breathing exercises. So just imagine when we breathe in, you got one channel on the left, one channel on the right. This is how it goes. right? So this can get advanced. So when we focus on this breath, when we focus on this breathing, it can activate the different naughty channels, the three different naughty channels that exist within the body. So the practice of breath work and the rising of the kundalini all ties to melanin and the alchemical process of the whole melanin system. So also I'm going to be going over how this can tie into melanin, right? Melanin is not just the pigmentation of our skin. Melanin is an alchemical process that exists within the entire body and in the cosmos. So, this is Melanin, A Key to Freedom by Richard King, MD. So, this is melanin in the pineal gland, the development of inner vision. So, the pineal gland is a representation of the third eye or higher consciousness, the all seeing eye, whatever you want to call it. So, this is melanin in the pineal gland, the development of inner vision. So, black melanin is a critical biopigment, the black chemical of life, found throughout the entire body of all humans in their skin, eyes, brain, endocrine glands, blood, heart, muscles, lungs, gastrointestinal tract, kidney slash urogenital tract, sexual organs, etc., etc. Despite the presence of melanin in many body locations and in receptor sensory organs as a transformational door, the melanins may function as a unified whole black body system. A study of ancient African history reveals that the human melanin system functions as a whole, holy black body as the inner vision, eye of the soul to produce true spiritual consciousness, creative genius, beatific vision, and to become godlike, and to have conversation with the immortals, aka the ancestors. So this is the power of melanin, and once this melanin is activated, it can unlock all these different things that I mentioned in this book. So according to George G.M. James in the book Stolen Legacy, chapter 3, page 27, the earliest theory of salvation is the Egyptian theory. The Egyptian mystery systems has its most important object, the deification of man, and taught that the soul of man, if liberated from his bodily fetters, could enable him to become godlike and see the gods in this life, and attain the beatific vision and hold communion with the immortals. The Egyptian mystery system, like the modern university, was the center of organized culture, and the candidates entered it as the leading source of organized culture. So, according to Pietschmann, the Egyptian mysteries had three grades of students: the mortals, example, probationary students who were being instructed who had not yet experienced the inner vision; the intelligences, example, those who had attained inner vision and have received mind or nous, N-O-U-S; and number three, the creators or sons of light who have become identified with or united with light. Example, true spiritual consciousness. So the eye of inner vision for all humans is the eye of Heru or Horus, the eye of the soul, the third eye, the pineal gland. So back within the Egyptian mysteries and the mystery schools that existed before the Egyptian mystery schools, it was important for them to teach the initiates about themselves. So why were they so concentrated on focusing on themselves? Why were they so concentrated on teaching them the inner workings of themselves? Like I said earlier, we are the universe. We are the universe experiencing itself. We are God in the flesh experiencing itself, experiencing its own creation. So we are the microcosm of the macrocosm. So once we're able to learn more about ourselves, to learn more about the inner workings of our own being, to focus on our own world, to focus on our own universe, then that's when the universe starts to evolve as well. When we evolve, the universe evolves. So that's why they were so disciplined and so concentrated on the inner workings of themselves. They were so concentrated on working on themselves to understand themselves on a higher dimensional level, right? We don't get that in modern universities and modern private and public schools. That's how advanced these beings were. That's how advanced the Egyptians were. That's how advanced the Atlanteans were. That's how advanced the Kemites were, because they were able to understand themselves, and they weren't learning about things that didn't benefit them in any way, shape, or form. That's why the education system, especially in America, is trickling down to a high degree, because we're we're learning from a Eurocentric point of view. We're learning from, the Rockefellers, a Eurocentric aspect of everything, a Eurocentric point of view when it comes to uh, life in general. But once we take the time to understand our history, understand what our ancestors were teaching, understand the history and the things that our ancestors had to go through to put us in this position, then that will you know, unlock the hidden mysteries within ourselves. That's when we start to understand ourselves, and that's when we're able to develop ourselves to a higher degree. See what I'm saying? So this is the power of melanin, and how melanin and the kundalini and the breath all tie in together. So I wasn't gonna leave you guys hanging. I want to include a deep breathing exercise. Now, somebody had left a comment on my recent breathwork video, wanted me to talk about the infinity breath, which is the Archangel Michael breathing technique. Okay, so I wanted to go over this infinity breath exercise. So, take some time. If you're watching this video right now, just, eliminate all distractions, concentrate on this breathing technique, and concentrate on this exercise with me. Okay, because I'm gonna be doing along with you. So the Archangel Michael breathing technique focuses on cord cutting, protection, and releasing negative energy by combining deep breathing with visualization. Right, this can be very powerful. Like I said, with breathing, with certain breathing exercises, making certain sounds like the om and different types of sounds, frequency and vibration, with visualization can be a very powerful tool that you can utilize within your life. So you begin by taking slow, deep breaths to calm the nervous system. All right, so do it with me. Just take in slow, deep in and out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. You may start to feel calm at this point. Keep breathing in and out. Calming the mind, calming the nervous system, calming the whole body in general. Slowly get into that beta wavelength state. Breathe in, breathe out. Now keep doing that. Keep breathing in, keep breathing out. So then you visualize a vibrant, luminous blue light radiating around you, creating a protective shield. So do this while you're breathing in and out, taking in deep, slow inhales and exhales, and actually utilize your creative energy, utilize your creativity, your imagination. Visualize in your mind a blue light radiating around you. This represents a creative protective shield. Okay? Breathe in, breathe out. And visualize this protective glowing, majestic blue light radiating all around you. Archangel Michael protecting you, right? This doesn't have to be just Archangel Michael. It could be Jesus. It could be Shiva. It could be the Buddha. It could be Tahuti. It could be Ma'at. It could be Isis. It could be yourself. It could be your higher self. You utilize this space and utilizes your creativity to come up with your own visualization. But if you want to stick with Archangel Michael, imagine Archangel Michael manifesting a blue energetic shield around you, protecting you and guiding you along the way. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay? Keep doing that. So, while you're doing this, also visualize Archangel Michael using a sword of light to cut away any negative cords, attachments, or energetic burdens. Okay, so visualize Archangel Michael using his sword to cut off all the dark times, cut off all the negative energy, cut off all attachments, cut off all addictions, right? Cut off all traumas that you've been experiencing in your life, right? The edge of the sword, cutting off all the demons, cutting out all the inner demons, cutting out all the negative energy. Breathe in, breathe out. No type of negativity, no negative thoughts can get through you. No type of negativity can get past you because you got that blue magnetic shield protecting you. You are protected. Archangel Michael is protecting you. Your higher self is protecting you. God is protecting you. The universe is protecting you. The ancestors are protecting you. The gods and goddesses are protecting you. Keep visualizing Archangel Michael cutting off those negativities, cutting off those dark thoughts. They may be coming, those thoughts may be coming, but let go and let God. Let go and let Archangel Michael do his thing. Right? Observe those thoughts, observe those feelings, observe those emotions, and cut it loose. Right? Don't fight it. Don't fight it at all. Just let go. Just let go and be. Let Archangel Michael do the rest. Breathe in and out one more time for me. Breathe in and breathe out. All right. So that's the Infinity Breath exercise by Archangel Michael. You know, if you want to utilize this within your everyday life, implement this within your ritual practices, by all means do so. Take some time. It don't have to be it don't have to be long. It could be 5, 10, 15 minutes, however long you desire. Right? Depends on you, depends on the person. So actually, utilize this exercise and utilize this meditative exercise and this breathing exercise within your day-to-day life. Okay? So that's not the only one. You can, I got some other breathing exercises. You got the double inhale, exhale. When you breathe in 2 times and let go of 1 deep breath. This is another powerful breathing exercise that can activate the kundalini energy. Also got the 4-7-8 breath, right? You breathe in for 4 seconds. Hold it for 7 seconds. You let go for 8. Right? So these are some more, advanced breathing exercises. If you want to keep it simple, by all means do so. But these are just some recommendations, for you to try. These are some very powerful breathing practices that can really activate the kundalini energy within the body. Rapid inhale and exhale. Just do rapid inhale and exhales. Do that for a few minutes. Then start to slow down your breath, maybe for 5 more minutes, and then go back to your rapid inhale and exhale. These sorts of different things. Uh, Shower cleanse. This deals with breath work and visualization. So whenever you get in the shower, whenever you want to take a shower, just visualize the water that's coming out of the faucet, cleaning all the toxins, cleaning all the toxicity within the body and outside the body, and actually concentrate on your breathing while you're in the shower. So take deep breaths in and out, actually focusing and concentrating yourself within your breathing and visualizing the water, because the water holds energy as well, right? Well, there's many different studies on this, scientific studies on this. When you have a certain type of energy about you, when you set an intention, and the particles within the water start to take a different shape versus when you uh, focus on negativity and things like that. There's a whole science behind it. So when we have a positive intent, when we set an intention to utilize the water, to utilize the energy of the water to cleanse ourselves, then that's when, it can benefit us in the long run. Or if you're in the bathtub, imagine, visualize the water within the bathtub, utilize some lemon water, squeeze in some lemon water within the bathtub, or use certain type of salts, things of this nature. And actually, just concentrate on your breathing. When you're in the bathtub, just visualize the water, soaking the body, cleansing the body, right? And then hop out the bathtub and get in the shower and do the same thing. Right? Imagine the water just cleansing all that, all those toxins, all that negativity that that you had to deal with, right? So these are very powerful exercises. Or just keeping it simple. If you want to keep it simple, breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. You can do this at work. You can do this, you know, allot some free time in your life. You can do this throughout your free time. Just concentrate on the breath just for a few minutes a day can go a long way. You ain't gotta be like this yogic master to where you're just, meditating all the time 24/7, doing all these different breathing exercises 24/7. Whatever works best for you. These are just some recommendations that I just, want to share within this video. But making your own practice, making your own time to actually concentrate on your breathing and just concentrate on yourself in general, right? Self care is the best care. Okay. So there you have it, folks. This is the breath in the art of life, how breathing can transform ourselves and transform our reality for the better. Hopefully, you guys have learned something from this video. Hopefully, these exercises, especially the Infinity Breath exercise by Archangel Michael, has helped you. Hopefully, you have done the exercise with me. I feel even better just from doing that. So that can go a long way. Concentrating on the breath can go a long way. All right. So till next time, and always remember, all power resides from within, and always keep the faith, because God in the universe is always working for you. Take care, guys, and God bless.